Hello everyone and welcome to the D&D Chronicles where we talk about D&D because we're bored. I am Thomas.
And I'm Liam.
And welcome to the episode topic of today. Welcome to Forgotten Memories. Bit of a weird name, but essentially today's topic is things D&D has forgotten over the years in previous editions.
We're even answering a special comment later, so stay tuned.
Ooga booga. Also, one more thing, if our audio sounds better or worse, please let us know down in the comment section. We're trying out a new microphone today. Hope it all works out.
Yeah. Now let's start with
Forgotten class things. And I quote, just forgotten class things, that's what it's called. I wanted to start off with the chronology wizard. Time magic. Now, this was sort of brought back as the Clock Soul Sorcerer, but, and I've heard that in a different, Sword Coast book, the Chronology Wizard was brought back, but D&D forgot about the Chronology Wizard for a long time, and it made me really sad, because being able to manipulate time itself...
It does seem a little...
cool.
Broken.
Broken too, but really cool. I can't remember the name of the spell, but there was a spell that would trap an object in suspended time, right? And then it could sit there for 1,000 years and remain the same, but the second anything touched it, both it and the thing that touched it would age that amount of time it was frozen. So a gem sitting on a pedestal has a spell cast on it that's been sitting there for 1,000 years. You go to grab it, you just dust.
An immortal touches it and nothing happens. Oh, this is strange.
Why do I feel smarter? Ads. I hate ads. I hate ads so much. Oh, by the way, I suppose I should give a little shout out. Thank you, Philip Lakovic. We are using your music as background right now. I couldn't find any copyrights. If it is copyrighted, just email me or something. I don't know.
If you copyright strike us, we will break your legs.
No! No!
Haircut voucher's been through something. Hey!
Another thing that was forgotten a little while ago, I think it was forgotten in 3.5, might have been 4th edition, but I didn't play 4th edition because I heard 4th edition sucked. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, all martial classes used to get 4 attacks, except rogues. I don't think rogues got 4 attacks, but barbarians used to get 4 attacks in a turn. It wasn't just fighters, essentially. And they would start getting their 4 attacks a turn, and according to 3.5, I think it was 15th level, where you'd get 1, 2, 3, 4. Bonk, 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 goes the ranger. Bonk, 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 goes the barbarian. Bonk, 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 goes the fighter. You know? And something I found weird was that wizards got 2 attacks at really high levels, and I'm like, oh? Yeah, 3.5 was crazy, dude. The power scaling was ridiculous. I loved it. Unfortunately, I've never gotten to play 3.5 campaign. Because I also know that 1 round in 3.5 combat can take an hour. 5e has really done a good job at speeding things along. So you get more game time in, you know?
Yeah. Forgotten monsters, huh?
Oh, yes. Forgotten monsters. Not stiff? What the just things that they didn't really include in the new 5e monster manual. Something I wanted to talk about was the Alip, otherwise known as. They're evil undead who were driven to madness and suicide. Essentially, in their life, they were driven mad by something, and that madness drove them to suicide, and they came back as evil undead. Yeah.
What do they look like?
Spectral black gaseous form, as you might imagine. Pause. Dude, pause the fuck. Sorry about that, everyone. We had some technical difficulties. Somebody decided to interrupt our recording session by forgetting to take his meds.
I'm not the person.
Yes, you are. Yes, you
who
are.
Decided to barge in here while we're doing our podcast.
Sorry about that, everybody. And let's continue with our little conversation.
Just put them on my hit list, and now let's get back to...
Okay, as I was saying, Ellipse, they're evil undead who in life were driven to madness and then suicide. Which, that's really sad.
That's really sad, he says while laughing.
Oh, okay. Another one is the morgue. I think that's how it's pronounced. The morgue are animated corpses of mass murderers. That's another monster that was forgotten that I think would be really cool if it was kept in game. You can actually find an illustration of the morgue in the 3.5 Monster Manual. Just think of like a skeleton, right?
Yeah.
But it's like purple, pinkish, gelatinous jelly in the skeleton. Yeah, that's the morgue.
Sounds tasty.
What the hell? What in the nine hells? Number 3, dire animals. There was never just a dire wolf. I don't know why they changed it, but in 3.5, they had a whole list of different dire animals. There was dire apes, there was dire lions, there was dire everything.
What does dire even mean?
Dire means it's an animal who is particularly bigger, stronger, and more aggressive than the rest of its kind. So dire wolves just means it's bigger, stronger, more aggressive. Can still be tamed, though. I had a character who rode a dire wolf.
I think my dad was a dire dad.
Oh, God. Okay, great. Beholder hives. Yes, you heard that right, people. Beholder hives.
Absolutely terrifying.
Okay, so in modern D&D, they say beholders are solitary creatures that think they are the best beholder. Each beholder thinks it's the best beholder and that it can't work with other beholders. That's modern D&D. See, back in ye old days...
You weren't that old.
My dad is. But back in the older days of D&D, there was such a thing as beholder hives. Think a beehive is bad? Yeah, no. Beholders used to live together and there used to be a beholder monarch. I think it's a monarch, I don't know, but and they would live together, right? And of course, every beholder thought it was the best and that it should be the leader, so that, and of that end, whenever there was an opportunity to usurp the quote-unquote throne, they would take it. But they would live together. They would coexist with one another. And that thought is terrifying, is it not?
Yeah, one beholder's already bad enough. I don't want 50,000 eye beams going at me at once. I don't need a minigun of eye beams giving me 20,000 rays of death straight to my ass.
Straight to your what, you mean?
My chin.
Yes, your chin, that's what you meant. Another thing about beholders that not a lot of people know about, some people might, if they read the 5e monster manual, but other people might not. Beholders reproduce by dreaming of other beholders.
So they have, like, the best wet dreams ever.
Oh my god.
That is...
Liam, that's not how that works. Okay, so when the beholder dreams, it has the force to warp reality.
But what?
Liam looks terrified right now. It's so funny.
How do you warp reality by just dreaming?
Beholders are that fucking powerful and magical. That's how.
We killed one easily.
See, when a beholder dreams, it can dream of other beholders. When it dreams of other beholders, sometimes that other beholder comes into existence. Liam looks pissed off at me right now. Like, I'm the one who wrote this up. Yes, it was all me.
Whose idea was this? That's just dumb. That's not even... I'm not even scared anymore. That's just dumb.
That is not dumb. That is genius, and it's awesome.
Whose idea was this?
You calling the creator of D&D dumb?
Yes.
Shut up. You're wrong. But yeah, that's how beholders work. Another thing is, a way they can become a death tyrant, basically a lich beholder, is, yes, there's all the magical processes and whatnot, but the other way of coming it around is when a beholder fears mortality, sometimes it can think of a vision beyond death. It can literally dream itself to become a death tyrant. A beholder's dreams are powerful enough to warp reality. Take that literally.
I don't like beholders anymore.
I love them. They're goofy little flying meatballs with eye stalks.
I thought they were just eyeball meatballs. That's all I thought they were. Just eyeball meatballs with rays that will turn you into stone and stuff. But no, they just warp reality in their sleep. Of course.
You're not even... You're so much of a nuisance to me, I can dream you dead, and it will happen. I don't think that can actually happen, but that is a possibility.
Pretty sure it can only give itself more power, or...
Well, it doesn't state that anywhere, so a DM is free to play with the rules a little bit on beholders.
Well, anyways, I think we should get to our special commenter. Now, the commenter...
His name we cannot say on podcast or risk being demonetized, but his name is in the comment section of episode 2. Feel free to go look, but he asked to learn about...
purple worms. However, to the person who made that name, congrats. Great name. Now, on to purple worms.
Okay, so...
Donut.
Purple worms... first of all, I just want to say they're gigantic purple worms. Gigantic carnivorous purple worms. Most people know that already, but I just want to mention, Liam, how would it go? How would it go if you ever got swallowed by a purple worm? Your character, anyway.
I'd cast Fireball, and there's no way he's beating the dexterity saving throw if I'm inside of his throat.
Call that serious heartburn.
You don't need to drink Fireball for that. I give you your own.
Brothers got you. Anyway. First of all, they are Underdark creatures. They live down in the Underdark, but they can sometimes be spotted around the mountainous, rocky terrains of the surface world. Ain't that awesome, huh?
Interesting.
And they're deaf, actually. So they use some form of echolocation called tremor sense. Basically, if you're touching the ground, they can probably see you. Liam disagrees with me on this, but I know for a fact that breathing causes the absolute tiniest vibration. So if you breathe, it can see you.
Look, I'd agree if it was talking obviously, but breathing. What vibrations are in that?
I mean, you can make a stealth check, and you're probably gonna succeed. Its only good stats are Constitution and Strength. You're forgetting this, Liam.
I'm just gonna throw a rock away from me and run away, and it's just...
Yeah, you can do that, because it has an intelligence of 1. It will fall for that.
A bunny is smarter than that.
Yeah. This actually brings me to a funny part of its brain. You know how most people's brains are like circular gray matter? Yeah, no, its brain is a long nerve along the entire end of its body.
That sounds like an easy kill to me.
You'd think so, but it can grow back body parts. You cut off its head, it'll grow a new one.
And if I just cut off its brain, what's it gonna do?
I don't think you understand what I mean by that. Like,
yeah, it's a long
think of your spinal nerve, right?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, so if I cut it in half, wouldn't it just kill him?
Okay, there's a certain degree, like, if you cut him in half, yes, you will kill him. But if you cut off, like, just a bit of if you cut off just his head, he'll grow back a new head. Same with the tail end. I can't remember, but there's a certain amount of segments of its chitinous armor that you can cut off.
I feel like if you cut him in half, he would only die to losing too much intelligence.
Anyway. They're not a primordial creature, but they've been around since those times, and they're just a giant carnivorous worm. They've grown up and they've evolved to be that way since they were primordial creatures. They were not primordial creatures, but they've been around since those times, and those times were dangerous. So they had to grow some pretty strong.
Surely you're gonna have us fight a purple worm this session.
This session, no. Soon as I get the mini, though.
Just dye a worm purple and throw it at us. I'll probably eat it, though. So,
desert purple worms, first of all, those, they'd have a hard time surviving in the desert.
Yeah, they have this mucus that covers their body.
And it's how they breathe. Yeah, so this mucus that covers their body, it's what they use to breathe. But it's desert, so it probably dries up a bit. It'd probably be pretty hard to survive out in the desert, but that's why they travel in groups in the desert. And no thank you. That is no.
1, oh no. 2, ugh! And more than 2, yeah, I know you're just dead. You don't even have time to scream. You're just dead.
As I stated before, they were Underdark creatures, right?
Yeah.
Other dwellers of the Underdark, such as the Duragar or the Drow, they actually have to use special wards to ward away the monsters from their cities. Because if they didn't have those special wards, the purple worms would terrorize their cities and towns. It'd be bad. Like, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a town, and their wardings failed. It got demolished in like a week.
It's like a whole week.
Well, there's no guarantee that a purple worm is around you. And funny thing, you want to know what those wards are made of?
Oh, yeah, right, they're like...
Scent glands, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, purple worms have a scent on them that they can use to alert other purple worms of danger. That brings a question of, though, what the hell does a purple worm consider danger? I'll tell you what, a Tarask!
Just bring an army of purple worms, they could easily beat them.
You'd think so, but not really. I mean, depends on how many you bring. A billion owls can beat a Tarask, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, roll the hit, does 1 damage, billion times.
big stretch. They also have a poisonous barb at the end of their tails, right? See, in previous editions, purple worm poison was so strong it just killed you. It just killed you outright.
Honestly, poison in general in that edition kind of sucked just because of you're just dead. Just so many of them are just, you're just dead. Goodbye.
Now, of course, I'm thinking a little bit here that it was probably refined, that the monster manual for the purple worm didn't say, oh yeah, you get stung once, you're dead. I don't think that's how it was, but I think if you harvest it and refined it, then stab dead. And see, people think of this creature called the muddle worm. If anyone remembers the muddle worm, it's very much like the purple worm. You want to know why?
Why?
Because it is the purple worm.
All right.
They're the same creature, but one lives underwater. They're literally the same thing. Muddle worms are just purple worms that decided, I want to live in the ocean. And it's fine, because they can actually breathe underwater. The water will actually serve as a substitute to their slime. Or, in some cases, it'll just help the production.
How do they reproduce if they don't go near each other unless they're in the desert?
They do. Reproduction is actually the only time you'll see two purple worms together. Yeah.
So if I come across two purple worms,
I'm gonna murder your family. But yeah, that's muddle worms are just purple worms, but in the water. They don't swim usually, because when in the water, and if they're just swimming and there's nothing else touching them but water, they're essentially blind. They can't see.
Aren't they already blind?
Yeah, but you're in the water, they don't get their tremor sense. So they can't see you. That's why they usually scrounge around on the ocean floor when they're in the water. Make sense?
Sounds very dumb of them to want to go in the water if they can't see.
Well, they scrounge around on the ocean floor. There's plenty of stuff down there. And I want to say, DMs, they do live in the water. This is very important, okay? What the hell, Wizards of the Coast? Why did you just remove their ability to live in the water? Yeah, they just kind of, no. And that's not how that works. They lived in the water. They still do. Just so you know, DMs, if you're throwing a purple worm at your party, they can be aquatic. But they're on the ocean floor most of the time. Just trying to give you a couple tools here, you know? Oh, yeah. They always have multiple of one organ. So if you think stabbing them in an important organ is good enough to kill them, no. Now, if you take out all of that one specific organ, then probably, but they can grow organs back, Liam. They have a limited amount of regeneration. They can just grow stuff back.
That sounds terrifying.
Just like how I hope to grow an audience. Thank you to my 25 subscribers and 7 viewers. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate all of you guys. That being said,
remember to leave a positive review if you like the podcast. If you want to hear about a topic, let us know. Now may your rolls be high, and may you not die. Good luck and goodbye.